This is a message for all young creators trying to make it. Trying to get their foot in the door, trying to get themselves heard through a visual platform. More importantly, anyone who might be struggling to fit the model student, and to not let any professor or any teacher tell you that you can't do something. University of Arizona, October of 2016. That was the year I got kicked out of the film school. Why is this video more important than any video I put out? Because this is a raw, authentic story. No fancy B-roll, no fancy editing, just a message. The hope is that this story can help motivate someone, give someone hope, or to let someone know that with adversity comes blessing. It's been 8 years in the making since I heard these words.
We are gonna have to kick you out of the film and television program. I just don't think this is the right fit for you.
It wasn't that I was a bad student, I just had a lot of learning disabilities and school wasn't for me. I did not fit the ultimate perfect student, and because of that, I was ultimately kicked out of the film school. That's the reason why. As this was the lowest point in my journey, it was also a turning point in my journey. Now, this isn't an anti-school message. This isn't a message about why someone shouldn't go to school. This is a message to let people know who might be struggling in school that you can really do anything you want to do. My goal is for someone to come across this video and this video give them hope, give them a reason, and ultimately give them a living example of myself. There were 3 things that made up that year and really the rest of my life leading up to this point we're in right now. Consume, learn, and experiment. Those 3 words have echoed through my mind for years, and I'm ready to talk about them. So this was the rise of cinematic storytelling online, that being YouTube or Vimeo. The Taylor Cut Films, the Sam Colders of the world, the Peter McKinnons. They took storytelling and cinematic value and brought it to a platform, that being YouTube and the internet. I watched these videos for hours, and for the first time, it was a glimpse into the future of what was possible. All the answers I needed were online. I could learn how to shoot, learn how to edit, learn how to color grade, and learn how to make crazy transitions. It was wild and mind-blowing to me. For me, it was a key of hope. And that was the point I knew I did not need the film school and to become that model student to become the creator and the creative I wanted to be. The term doom scroll gets thrown around so much, and you can fall in the trap of that, but it wasn't doom scrolling. It was scrolling with reason and scrolling with meaning. It was scrolling with the idea that I can learn so much and writing so many things down and having so many tutorials and so many things I wanted to try. I would literally hit pause, go frame by frame, and find things I wanted to do, find things I wanted to try, and see how I could use these things and kind of make them my own and fit them within my own style. There's a motto that gets thrown around that no question is a dumb question. And I believe that to its core. As someone who was quiet, who was shy, who was ultimately, when I was younger, afraid to ask questions, this is where I opened up. This is where I felt comfortable. And this is where I really saw an opportunity to learn. I had an internship that year with the athletic department, and that was the place where I could watch professionals be professionals. I could take in all the information that all these people have mastered over years and just absorb knowledge, absorb seeing experiences, and absorb ultimately the reality of what it takes to work in this field. The long hours, the learning, the asking questions. It's where I thrived. It was face-to-face, real-life, on-site consumption. And I loved it, and I loved every second of it. And the best part was that the people there were interested in teaching me. They never acted like I was asking too many questions, and they always took time to answer my questions. And I credit a lot of what I know today to that. There is something so special about someone taking their ego and throwing it aside and being able to teach. I think it's one of the most underrated things in this creative field, and it's something that needs to be practiced more of. I think putting your ego aside and being able to teach is crucial for the youth. I think it's one of the most underrated things, and it's something I practice to this day. But between hands-on consumption and consumption of content, I became obsessed. obsessed with learning and trying to find my style. I ultimately was just trying to find something that I did that was unique to me and that stood out. Anytime I tried something or wanted to try something, the hardest part was getting out and doing it. But that was my goal. You can consume so much stuff. You can learn so much stuff. And you can be taught so much stuff. But if you don't take it and try it, you're not really gonna get anywhere with it. And that's the hardest part to get to, is the trying. What did this do? It drove my passion and it made me crazy. It made me spend hours and hours trying to just go out and do this. And let me tell you, when you're in college and all your friends are going out to parties, or there's a game they're going to, or whatever it may be, a hike someone might be on, and all you're trying to do is perfect your craft, it's dedication. It takes time. It makes you have to sacrifice some things, and ultimately, that's what comes with experimentation. I would get footage and spend hours in my bedroom just editing. I mean, hours on hours, food breaks every once in a while, a workout break, and then back to the editing cave. And I spent hours in there just trying to perfect a craft. A craft early on, a semester earlier, that I was told wasn't for me. It was a driving motivational force. I learned right away, and it's something I didn't learn in really these film classes I was in, was that I'm a hands-on person. I'm a visual person. And if you give me the camera, if you give me the editing, if you give me the stuff to consume, I will take all of that, and it is literally a sponge, and I take it all in. And it was something that wasn't encouraged in that of the film school, and it's what did not make me the model student. I spent every weekend, every day after class, just walking around campus and shooting. If it was flowers, if it was something in a frog pond, if it was cool architecture of a building, if it was a club I was in, I would just bring my camera and shoot. I would walk to class, I would walk to the gym, and I would just have mental notes of places I wanted to go back to, because I had an idea of how I wanted to shoot something, how I wanted to use something I learned from the editing and the consumption phase into the edit. And it became so much fun because I was able to really take these things, put them into play, and make them mine. But at the end of the day, it's always easier to create for yourself. And the scary part is putting it out for others to see. And that was the next barrier. I went through the consumption phase, and it became just taking in all this information. It became the next intimidating factor, which was the phase of actually experimenting and putting it to edits and putting my name on it. And then from there, the next barrier was putting it out to the world. December 31st, 2016, a letter to my younger self. April 20th, 2017, 4 years. March 16th, 2017, the final chapter. May 29th, 2017, a new chapter. None of this, and I repeat, none of this was learned in film school. None of this was learned even though I wasn't the typical student. This was self-taught. Hours and hours and hours trying to perfect a craft I was obsessed with. I have been professionally working in the creative and the film industry for 8 years now. I am obsessed with the process, obsessed with the story, obsessed with just helping others, and that is my truest passion. To the professor back in 2016 that told me this just wasn't for me, thank you. Because of you, I am living out my dream day in and day out. Thank you for listening to my story.